Hey guys, what's going on? It's Liam Jenkins Sim Racing here, and today I'm bringing you a brand new series called the Retro Sim Racer. Now, as many of you will know, I'm a massive PlayStation 1 collector and fan, and throughout history there's been plenty of racing games both to make and break my childhood. There have been third-party ones and indeed official ones which have both had their ups and downs, and it's my job in this series to bring you the very best and the very worst of the PlayStation 1 library in the racing and maybe overall genre. We'll see how this series goes. But for this episode we're going to focus on one game in particular, and I cannot stand this game. Everything about it is awful. If there's one word to describe it, it's dreadful, and you're about to see why. So the game itself is Monaco Grand Prix Racing Simulation 2, and we go straight into the main menu and give you a little review. Now, the first thing I noticed about the menu screen was edit teams, so straight away you know that this is not going to be an official game. But what really disappointed me was the extent that they lowered to actually name the drivers and the teams as complete knockoffs, but you could see they were, of the actual F1 drivers. So let's just go through the teams then. There's no official team names, they're just numbers, however you can rename them, and their liveries are probably the sickliest colours I've ever seen. You go from puke green to a blinding purple. If you're, there's a blatant knockoff McLaren there, and it's not exactly the most attractive car I'll ever see in the world. And the sponsors as well on the side pods of the car, one side they're actually the right way around, says Tom, the other way around will say MOT, and vice versa. So you'll see words saying one way backwards and then completely the opposite forward. So a really bizarre way of sponsoring cars there. You know, it's almost like when you go into a Poundland shop and you see those knockoff Formula 1 remote control cars, and instead of Marlboro they've got like Marl Trend, or some really weird, instead of Vodafone there's always like Vodasonic or something like that. But here I'm just going through the liveries which you can choose on the cars. There's nothing too incredible really. You can see the drivers there which have no relevance to anything whatsoever, or do they? We'll get onto that very shortly. So now I'm going to quickly go into a quick race, but what's that? Darren Mill. Sorry, Darren Mill instead of Damon Hill. So it just gets worse out from here. You know, you've got evident rip-offs there. So Joan Testi, I'm assuming, instead of Jean Alesi. Maybe Johnny Herbert there. That is the worst rip-off I've ever seen. Diego Venez instead of Pedro Diniz. Really? You couldn't extend your imagination beyond that? Oh, it gets dreadful. These names are just awful. They could at least put some creativity into making them. That was obviously a Villeneuve knockoff there. You've got Ted Wine, who has probably some guy from Devon who likes a bit of wine every now and again. Xander Bertz is the worst one. That's obviously Alexander Verts, and you do not get much better than that. So, if this was a sign of things to come, it would most probably be right. What you're seeing now is the track selection screen. You can see just how colourful and how eccentric this really is. That spreadsheet sort of listing really does entice you as the audience and really want you to play more and choose your track. They're not even track names, essentially. They're just country names, and, well, it really is a sign to go out. So you can see their penalty no. So no penalty no, and that's surely going to improve this game. Now this is actually a kind of cool feature, or it would be if it worked. A setup screen, you can have everything from brake bias to the gear ratios, just about everything, which is a really nice feature for a PlayStation 1 game, again, if it worked. You'll recognise that screen if you're an avid Formula 1 fan from years ago when they used to have the old classifications, or you will recognise it if it wasn't completely ripped off and done appallingly. So the fonts are all wrong. I mean, you know, if you're going to do a knockoff, the idea is to do it better. What could the car models be like? So we're off the line here then at Monza. Everyone knows the first corner is a little bit tight, so I was expecting a few fireworks, considering in the intro it's actually a car that's going upside down, going up Sandoval. So I thought, you know, maybe what's going to happen? Oh wait, hang on, the corner's going to the left. I see, so this is the old layout maybe. Or, oh look at that, so you put one wheel on the grass and you immediately slow down. So that immediately is a big gaming turn off for me. It is the worst thing possible in a racing game. You can barely touch the grass and you're destined for doom. You're destined to lose about 10 positions. Went up the inside here and successfully made the move. Now, what you're about to see is absolutely dreadful. Caught the apex and oh, well, so I've not only lost 180 miles an hour in the space of 2 seconds, but also spun it on the spot in a gravel trap. Now that is really simulation, quote unquote, and I've gone off again there. That's just another idea of just how appalling the handling physics really are here. And also, when you actually turn the corner, well, you can see the AI have no idea what they're doing at all. They stay on your line and, oh, you're going to lose a position there because you slow down if you put one wheel off the track. But when you turn the cars, you cannot turn them. It's near impossible. You hold the right all the way down. Now, this is really bugging me. So you go into the penultimate, well, into the final corner, and you get such a nice slipstream when you barely touch the grass. Look at that, and you've already lost about 12 seconds. Here's a slow-mo replay, just a wheel barely on the grass, and that's really going to cost you about 70 miles an hour. So I thought I'd give it the benefit of the doubt and try Monaco. I mean, after all, this is Monaco Grand Prix. Surely this must be the best looking track in the game, right? No, of course not. So already the car handles like awful coming off the line. You've got to hold the D-pad all the way down to turn more than 20 degrees. That was my initial complaint of this. Into turn 1, it's looking fairly nice. Bit of contact, nothing too major. And we begin to run up the hill. And already you can barely steer the car. It's atrocious. There's just no way you can steer the car. You're coming up the hill now. And you can already see a bit of glitch in there. Some lines of the haircut actually coming through the bottom of the screen. The track itself, I'm not going to lie, is horrendously ugly. If you compare this to games which were out at the time, like F197 by Cyanosis, I think Tokka was out at this time as well. Some quality racing games on the console, and just none of them look appallingly as this. I mean, look how bad this is, so glitchy. You've got to jump over the curb to avoid contact with AIs which do not budge off of the racing line, no matter what situation you put them in. Jesus Christ. So now going into the tunnel, and look at this, the tunnel roof is made of sand. Now, I was not aware of this, so thanks for clearing that up. The Monaco tunnel is made of sand. So coming into the chicane, and a little bit of argy-bargy there, slamming the wall. To be expected, I suppose. The track itself is actually pretty accurate, I can't complain, but it just looks awful. It's like it was designed by a 4-year-old. I mean, you've got advertisements there by Bic, and you actually need a Bic because you can probably draw a better layout than this on paper with your eyes closed. I mean, it looks okay, but the graphics themselves for the time, I mean, I know this is PlayStation 1, but with games like Tokka out, F197, the whole F1 series really, even Ridge Racer had better graphics in my opinion. Gran Turismo, again, another classic, which look frankly a lot better than this does. So into the final corner, and look at this, we've already taken some plummets, and oh, my wheels disappeared. And my pit engine is so insightful there, and this was surely going to end my race. So I gave up. I thought there's one thing I haven't tried, and that's the championship mode. And surely, if I put all the settings on simulation, this can only get better. This is where it's going to shine, right? This is where every Formula 1 game shines. The handling of the cars are perfection, and everything goes to plan, right? Of course not.